Hello my friends, and welcome back to the channel, where today we are once again diving into a ton of fantasy romances. So last night I started reading Savage Lands by Stacey Marie Brown, and it basically once again sent me on an incredible desire to just read nothing but fantasy romance this week. And yeah, as always, I am incredibly excited to start diving into some more Kindle Unlimited reads, because really I've been finding so many gems lately and I'm so excited just to keep going. So as I mentioned, I started to read Savage Lands last night, and I stayed up pretty late and got to about 70% in because I was so insanely addicted to this. I can't remember the last time that a book gripped me this much that made me stay up hours past when I usually go to sleep to keep going. But this is so amazing. So we in this book, in this world where 20 years ago the Fae came back from their world and essentially entered our world, and since then humans and Fae have been at war, and they're in this divided area and they are fighting over land and stuff. So we follow this one girl, Brex, who is the daughter of one of the really famous human generals and has trained her entire life to be an elite warrior within the human world. So she and her best friend go on this mission to essentially just steal some stuff from a shipment that's going, we don't know where, but we assume it's something politically important. And while there, this train unbeknownst to them goes into the Faelands, and while there she's captured. And it has just gotten so interesting, and it is following so many things that I absolutely love to read in books, and especially Fae books and Fae romances. And I am incredibly hooked. This is really one of the best romances that I've read in a while. The romance aspect is incredibly light so far. There's somebody who you can tell is maybe further down in the series going to be of romantic interest, but so far it's just a very, very light part of it. It's so interesting. So right now Brex is in this Fae/human prison, and while in there she's just kind of dealing with the dynamics of being in this space and trying to figure out her own place and survive, because it's incredibly brutal and cutthroat, and she's just making a name for herself as somebody not to be messed with. And it's so good. It has everything that I absolutely love in this type of book, and I'm so excited to keep going. In terms of what I'm going to read, what otherwise I'm going to read this week, I don't know. I haven't really decided anything yet. I'll kind of just let you guys know when I pick something up. I have a ton of books downloaded on Kindle Unlimited, and we'll just kind of see where my mood takes me. So I finished Savage Lands, and this was 100% a 5-star read for me. This was so easily a 5-star read for me, and I think one of the best Fae books that I've read in a while now. And oh my god, it was one of the few books in so long that I just have not been able to put down, and just basically just consumed my thoughts until I finished reading it. And was it anything groundbreaking? No, but it was just so good. There was so much tension, there was so much fun things going on, and just so much of it takes place in a prison. And for some reason something in this kind of environment always works incredibly well for me, and it's always a type of fantasy book that I really enjoy. So it so good. And yeah, it was just very action packed. It was constantly had so much happening, so much going on, characters to really root for. I loved all the characters, just so much about it was so good. And honestly, I was so ready to just go pick up the entire rest of the series and just binge it all week. But just realized that it's only the first one that's actually on Kindle Unlimited, unfortunately. So I did just order books 2 and 3 that hopefully will be in within the next week or so, because that's really all I want to just sit down and read right now. Is I just want to really obsess over this series and get through it. But yeah, so good, so good. I highly would recommend. It was fantastic, and I am so obsessed. So I just read a monster romance for the first time, and I don't think I'll ever do that again. I read The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert, and in it we have a woman who has asked for a bargain from a demon, and in exchange 7 years of her life are to be spent in hell, and she'll essentially be sold to the highest bidder to manage her contract. And in it she is sold to this dragon prince who takes her to be his wife, and it's a romance between them as they fall in love and all of this stuff. And I am deeply disturbed by part of it. They went into some details that I will not be able to get out of my head, and it was not fun. Just the dragon anatomy that they decided to really talk about was not necessary, was not something I ever want to know. yeah, and it's a little burned into my head right now. Should I have DNF'd this? Yes. But was it also only 180 pages and only took me an hour to read, so I kept going? Yeah. And I have not been this horrified by something in quite a while. It definitely has scared me off of anything within this monster romance genre ever again, because I really do not want to witness that again. It same kind of idea as if you've read Ice Planet Barbarians and you know just a little bit about their extras, you know, a little bit extra to the anatomy they have. Something very similar was with the dragons, and did not want to know that. Did not want to think about how that happened or how it worked or anything. And unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to stop thinking about it now. So yeah, that was terrible. I've also like very much described this to my partner as probably one of the most disturbing things I've read, just because of that reason. And like just getting past that, getting past how much I hated that part. It was this was really smut with no substance, which I understand. There's definitely a time and place for it. And it's just, that's not for me. That's not my type of thing. I'm never one to really enjoy smut if it doesn't have anything else to it. And this was just very much smut, but add in that kind of a little twist of one of the characters being a dragon to add a little bit extra weirdness to it. So yeah, safe to say I hated this and will not be continuing on that series ever again. The one exciting thing though, and now that we're moving past that, we're gonna pretend it didn't happen. We are going to scrap this from my mind, is I just got in, where is it? Book 2 of the Savage Lands series, which is Wildlands. And in this one, Brex, the main character, is now basically taken prisoner by one of the Fae princes. So I am really excited for this one. I think that I need to do my mind some good and just get obsessed with this and stop thinking about everything else that's going on. So yeah, I'm definitely diving into this one ASAP. Well, here we are. I have a reading update and the book is going well. So Wildlands, book 2 of this series. I believe 190 pages in, which is just over halfway through, and once again, really liking it. This one, I think I can definitely say not as good as book 1. There's just so many things in book 1 that like I really loved, and I think a big part of that, to be honest, was just like that prison setting was just like something that was really working for me, and this one by no means is bad. It just like doesn't have the same thing that's gripping me necessarily. So like book 1, I basically stayed up all night reading the first one, which I never do. Like I can't even remember the last time that I actually had a book that like made me that obsessed that I wanted to do that, which was just the best feeling in the world. I love that so much. So this one, it's definitely good. It's just like not quite the same obsession, I guess. So some pros of it, we're definitely exploring this fairy/human world a bit more, which is fun. Like we get to see a lot more of the dynamics between all the individuals. We get to see more of this world and explore and like learn a lot more about the different types of fae, which I'm really interested in learning more about. And we're exploring a lot of Brexley's relationships with humans from where she grew up and learning more about her family and that kind of stuff, which I really like. Yeah, there's a lot of good to this. It's just not quite as addicting. But that being said, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to finish it off tonight, which I'm really happy about. So I will check back with you in a bit. Okay, here we are a few hours later and I'm officially done Wildlands. This one I'm definitely going to give around like a 4.5 stars because I really enjoyed it. Once again, like so many parts of this I really deeply enjoyed, and I really like this fae world. I like all the characters. There's so many like fantasy romance tropes that just like always work so well for me, and there's just like a lot of really interesting politics and different things about the fae species that I'm really enjoying us exploring. Brexley herself, she's not necessarily a character that I love. Like there's a lot about her. She's just very like, the fact that she's a warrior seems to be the major focus of her personality, and just kind of like, I don't know, she's like every guy is obsessed with her, blah blah blah. And I don't hate that. It's just like not really the most exciting thing to read about. It's definitely more plot driven for me than character driven, though I do really like, there's one person who seems like a long-term love interest who I'm really enjoying. Really want to explore him more because I think that is fascinating. So yeah, like very excited about this world. Really excited to see where we keep going because ended like just like the first book, this one ended on a cliffhanger, which I have a feeling that every book in this series is going to do that. So it's just like addicting to pick up the next one because that works really well. So I think I'm just gonna like immediately go and order the third book because I am very, very excited to keep going. So a little kitchen update for those who might care. One second. Ta-da! Our dishwasher is installed. So this ended up being an absolute nightmare to do and took like 2 days, which was kind of insane because there was so much that we had to do. We had to like, oh God, we had to move like the water line. We had to like really figure out the electrical, and then just even getting it into the spot where it didn't fully fit compared to the old one was just a nightmare, and that took like way longer than it should have. So the next book I decided to go for is Pestilence by someone. I keep wanting to say Lauren Asher, but I know she's like a contemporary romance author, and I think I just read a book by her, so that's what's popping into my mind, but cover will be here. So this one is a Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse story. So in this world, there was an event, well, I'm going to be terrible at describing this. There was an event 5 years prior where the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse came down and not quite decimated the land, but essentially caused like just their power caused this intense like electrical surge and like all of just a bunch of technological setbacks, we'll say. Like a bunch of internet power, that kind of stuff all stopped working. There was something about all the cars stopped working simultaneously, that kind of thing. So they came down and were on Earth very temporarily, and then they disappeared. So here we are 5 years later, and Pestilence is the one horseman who has returned. So he is now riding through the world, and every city he brings plague, and it is essentially like, it's not your normal plague. So he just drives through the city. You don't have to come in contact with anything. Just being within a certain proximity of him, you automatically get it, and there is no cure. You die. There's no chance. And from the sounds of it, it is a gruesome and horrendous death. So we are following a woman who is a firefighter, and they are tracking Pestilence's journey and see that he is shortly going to be coming through their town. So out of her group of firefighters, she draws the short stick and is essentially volunteered to stay behind as everyone evacuates, and she is going to attempt to kill Pestilence, to see if this will give humanity a chance. But of course, because he is a horseman of the apocalypse, trying to kill him does nothing. So he, in his anger, decides that he doesn't want to kill this girl to get revenge. He's going to take her as prisoner, and his revenge is just going to make her suffer. So he is just going to drag her along with him and make her witness all of this death. So basically where we're at right now, and I'm not super far into it, but she is prisoner and just going along and desperately trying to get away, or trying to like kill herself, anything just to get away from this, because the things that she's witnessing are terrible. And not sure how I feel so far. Definitely interested in the plot. Don't think I like Pestilence as a character because, you know, I'm not really into the evil overlord kind of thing. Yeah, not really into the evil overlord type of thing. Our main character, she seems pretty good. She's definitely very spirited, which is good. And I don't know, a lot of people constantly describe Pestilence as a cinnamon roll, which I have not seen yet. Hoping we get to that soon because that would be nice to witness. I hope he's a likable character. And I'm hoping that their romance is good because I'm really curious right now to see how it will go.